Hey, so today I decided to do a topic conversation instead of it being directly about a particular puppy, about a word that breeders nor consumers like at all. That's a scary word in the breeding world called parvo. And one of the things about parvo that people don't realize is that it is often extremely catching. It can be on a property for up to 10 years. Just because you give a dog vaccines does not make them completely not susceptible to it. So, I learned this actually from a Rottweiler breeder about 3 years ago. And since I have started adding this to my shots for the puppies, I have not had any personal issues with them in my own home anyways. And so one thing that, you do is you usually give a parvo vaccine that includes with a 5-way vaccine that's inside of that at 6, and then again between 8 and 9, and then again 3 weeks after that. But what people don't often realize is the first vaccine, they're usually only 20 to 30% protected from parvo and the other viruses that are in that 5-way. The second vaccine is usually around 40 to 50%, and the third one is only 80%. And that's 2 weeks after the vaccine is given to give it time to kick in. And that's only up till they're a year and a half old. And generally, after that, they're pretty well off on at least the parvo deal. So one of the things that I recommend that every single breeder do before the puppy goes to the new home is when the puppies are 4 weeks old is to start something called Neopar. And if you're not familiar with it, it's on Animal Revival or revivalanimal.com, and they cost less than about $5 a piece. What I do on miniature schnauzers, because they're so small of a puppy at that age, is I do a half dose at 4 weeks, and then a half dose at 5 weeks, and then at 6 weeks, start their regular vaccines. And the reason I do that is because if you think about it, the mom is actually producing antibodies for the puppies up until they start nursing and then stop nursing. And then after they've stopped nursing, they're susceptible to anything because they're not nursing anymore. So while the mom is still nursing them, if you give a dose of Neopar, and they have a little bit of the live virus in them, not enough to make them sick or anything. That's why I do half a dose instead of a full dose. And then you do it again a week later, and then you give them their 5-way after that. I don't believe in over-vaccinating either, but they already have some immunity built up to parvo in their system. So if you are a breeder that is not yet using Neopar, whether you've dealt with parvo or not, because so many breeders and consumers both will be like, oh my gosh, this breeder has parvo. And in reality is almost every breeder you will ever talk to, they're probably lying if they said they haven't faced parvo at some point. Have I? Yes, twice in different homes before. That's why I wanted to find a solution for it. I mean, I could bring it in on my shoes. A lot of breeders don't let people come into their home saying they could bring in parvo. Well, you could too. I mean, I don't have anything special as far as a setup or nothing for my dogs, but I do let customers come and see my home and the dogs and things like that if they want to. But parvo can be just in your yard for 10 years. It can be an animal passing or a dog passing through that you didn't know was walking in your yard, especially in the country and stuff like that where people dump animals all the time. So again, add Neopar to your regimen. I'll tell a quick story on that as well. I did have a pup transported not too long ago that caught parvo in transport in a vehicle, and we know that because when it was transported and all that, the time frame added up perfectly for that. The puppy did catch parvo, but the puppy at only 9 or 10 weeks old survived, and the reason why is because she had already had her vaccines. She had had all of them, including the 2 extra doses of Neopar. Less than 20% or even a higher number of that don't make it through with parvo. But if they're vaccinated correctly and have everything they need in their system, they're a lot more likely to be able to pull through. So just wanted to give that word of advice. I think it's smart for every single breeder on the planet to add that in. If you have any questions about it or where to get it or need help to make sure you get the right one, just send me a message and I'm happy to help you.